How many Harley Davidson motorcycles are sold each year? Well, I'm going to tell you all about it inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're enjoying the channel and the videos. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. So, in this video, I'm talking about how many motorcycles are sold by Harley Davidson each year. Now, specifically, I want to ask you guys about if you know how many of each model are sold. But I'm going to give you the figures for the last couple of years, and then you can see certain trends developing. So let's just say, look at the 2017 full year results. And this is the interesting thing. Of all the models that were sold, there were 99,745 touring models sold. That's global, okay? 87,344 were cruisers, 54,409 were sportsters or street. So the total sales units, total motorcycles sold for 2017 globally was 241,498. Okay, quite impressive there, you would have thought. Right, for 2018, here's the interesting thing. Touring was 101,942. Cruisers were 78,529. Sportsters or streets were 48,194. Total sales were 228,665. So, total sales for 2018 were down about 13,000 units. Sportsters were down by about 6,000 units, global sales. Cruisers were down by about 9,000 units. And touring were actually up, would you believe, by 2,000 or 3,000 units all over. Now, the interesting thing is, as I'm a sport glide rider, as you know, there's been lots of speculation of whether this will be continued. And a lot of that speculation, yes, is down to sales figures. Now, it's an interesting one because the sport glide has only been out really for nearly a year now. 2018, it came online. We haven't got the full 2019 sales figures yet. Reports are that it hasn't been selling as well. If we go to first quarter 2019 sales figures, interesting, if we do a comparison between 2019 and 2018, touring they're down 5,000 units. Cruisers are down just over 1,000 units. Sportsters are actually up, would you believe, by 2,000, just to 2,500 units. But overall total sales for the first quarter 2019 are down on first quarter 2018 by about 4,000 units. So whilst markets are a little bit concerned in many ways about Harley Davidson performance, as a general decline they've been seeing over the last sort of year and a half, 2 years, they're also looking at Harley as this new roads emphasis that they have of opening new markets. And if you watch my other videos, you would have seen me or heard me talk about that as well, that the focus is moving away from the old stalwart Harley owner per se, and they're going into different markets and trying to open up Far Eastern markets with a smaller engine, and also attract different kinds of rider as well, especially with the Pan America, the Street Fighter, that potentially coming online at some point in 2020. But interestingly, with the soft tails, and I suppose they would fall within the cruiser section as well, there has been a decline there. There has been a decline in sales. Be interested to see, and I'll bring you another video as soon as I have the half-yearly reports of 2019, and obviously at the end of the year for the full-year reports as well. But it's quite difficult to find actual sales figures of a particular model. I've been told repeatedly that the sales figures, there's a difference. There's a difference between sales figures between the United States and Europe, especially on Softails and especially on the Sport Glide. And this is where the issue is. In Europe, Sport Glides are selling great, good numbers, whereas in the US, they're not that great at all, especially the Sport Glide. So they're looking at percentages, which is selling better, which isn't. So I'm only bringing you sales figures here. I'm not talking about whether they're going to discontinue the bike or anything like that. If we look at total sales for Europe and United States. So for example, the first quarter this in 2019, in the US there's been 28,091 units sold. In the European Union, 10,797. Asia, 6,074. Latin America, 2,241. Canada, 1,948. So worldwide total sales have been 49,151. Okay, not bad at all. So if we look at 2017, total global sales were 242,788, with 147,972 going into the US, 10,000 and change to Canada, 9,500 to Latin America, 44,000, nearly 45,000 to Europe, 30,000 and change to Asia Pacific. If we look at 2018, this is where the interesting bit comes for me, for who like who I like my statistics. The US was 132,868. Europe was 46,602. Asia Pacific 28,724. Latin America just over 10,000. Canada just under 10,000, 9,690. Direct comparisons between the two. So the US and the US was down about 15,000 in total sales. The Europe was up 2,000, and Asia Pacific was down just under a couple of thousand. Latin America went up by about 500, 600 units, and Canada was slightly down about 400 units, so not a lot of movement there. The biggest movement has definitely been in the United States, and from 2017, 2018, and it looks as if that trend is continuing. Perhaps Harley are making a lot of their decisions not based on global sales, but based on US sales, which are taking a big hit, and they're looking at that market now. But as a company, they've got to look at global sales, because that's the market that is actually going to drive the company forward. Whilst it might not be pleasant reading in many ways, or welcomed in the heartlands of the United States, for example, where you got the traditional Harley riders, these new models are taking the company in a different direction. And it may be a different Harley Davidson in years to come, but who knows? There has been a downward trend. Certainly the cruisers have taken a hit as well. Tourers have peaked a little bit, or increased a little bit. It'll be interesting to see with the full year figures for 2019, certainly the half year figures 2019. And as soon as I can dig out any specific model figures for the last 3 years, then I'll bring those to you. But obviously, specifically, I'll be looking at the Sport Glide as well. But if you have any of those figures, please let me know, or send an email via the website, and then we can discuss that as well. That'd be really good. Anyway, hope you found this useful. As I say, this is quite an interesting thing for Harley. There has been a slight downward trend. Certain categories are improving, some are diminishing as well. But looking at the Sportster and also the Sport Glide, and whether they will continue to sell or not sell. Anyway, hope you found this useful. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below, and I'll catch you on the next video, whenever that is. Cheers now.
RevelatorAlf.